Now, are all filthy rich people assholes? No. Mr. Bill Wyman, bass player for the Rolling Stones. You know, one of his ambitions when he was young was to become a millionaire. Well, he became more than a millionaire. Many different kinds of things more than a millionaire. But that was one of his goals when he joined the Rolling Stones. All right. I met him when I was room service order taker. Here's the proof. When I was a breakfast room service order taker, my first position at the Ritz-Carlton, this is my writing, Wyman, room 2502. Is that it? Yep, 2502. Wyman. He called down to order room service for breakfast. Scrambled eggs and toast, tea with milk. Did he add a tip? Yes, he did. Over the phone. He said, just add 15%, whatever's normal. The food cost came to $9.50. $9.50, yes. He added $1.43. He tipped. Just for the food, right? That was it. He might have given more in cash when the person came to the door. I don't know. But he did this as the formality involved. He didn't say, no tip. He could have. It wouldn't surprise me that he gave the waiter, the server, the room service server, more, not knowing where this tip would actually go. All right? Bill Wyman. Here's his signature. Bill Wyman. Right there. Okay? Think I'm making this shit up? I don't think so. Now, let's get on to some other scenarios here. Filthy rich motherfuckers. Remember, all this service is worth money. There were 2 parking spaces right in front of the door. You know, the 2 glass doors that you pull that were on the sides, to the sides of the revolving door, and 1 revolving door. This is the width of the main part of the hotel, where the rooms are, 25 stories tall. Okay. All right. Off to one side is the security entrance and other things above it. Right? Not rooms, really. No. Or no main entrance part. You know, the main canopy is not covering that. The main canopy thing, that area, with the revolving door and so forth, that's 2 car lengths wide. Right? Off to in front of the security entrance, that's a cab stand. Space there for 2 cabs, I think. Down the other direction, 2 car lengths worth, is the Jockey Club. The Ritz-Carlton's restaurant. Dining room, right? But it was called the Jockey Club. Okay. The kind of service you get there with the maitre d', Jacques, absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Jacques, a bona fide from Paris, Frenchman, heavy French accent, thick sideburns, typical for this kind of thing back then, right? White gloves, snapping his fingers inside, silent service, right? You know, this guy provided service that was so good to his customers, to his regulars, and it was almost all regulars, every evening. They came there because of Jacques. Most of them. And for no other reason. Jacques would have their table ready, even if they did not call and say, we're coming. The table would be ready on time, on the day they come for dinner. He could look through the back of to the last table, furthest from the door, and he could see that Mr. Troncali's or Troncalito's glass of wine was getting a little empty. He would just hold up 2 fingers. That means waiter number 2. Attention, right? And then he'd point to the back, touch his lips, and snap his fingers. That means now, wine. That shit's worth money. Money. of all employees at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, including the general manager of the place, Jacques is the only person who made more money than I did. Remember, tax-free. General manager made about $120,000 a year. I made $85,000, no taxes. It puts me a little bit more with respect to take-home pay than the general manager. Jacques made over $100,000 a year, tax-free, tips. He and I talked about it quietly. This shit is worth bucks. All right. Now, this is back in '86, remember? Okay. All this stuff is worth money. Those 2 parking spaces right out in front, immediately in front, they remain empty. Because that's for arrivals and departures. People arriving in cabs, people arriving in privately owned vehicles, people arriving in limousines, or departing in any of the same. Unless the parking space thing and these things are worth money. Unless you're Warren Beatty. That year, Warren Beatty was making the movie The Pickup Artist, starring Molly Ringwald, excuse me, in New York City. Where was he staying during those 9 months? At the Ritz-Carlton. On the 24th floor, next to the last floor, up, right? The top floor had, as I recall, 2 suites. The presidential suite and the matrimonial suite. The entire top floor, 2 suites. Just under it, I think the 23rd and the 24th floor, Warren Beatty stayed on the 24th floor. I think those 2 floors had 4 suites each. All the other floors had about 12 rooms. But those 2 floors, just under the top floor, had 4 suites each. Pretty big. And back then, the cost was about $350 a night per suite. Be a lot more now. Hell, the rooms would cost more than that now. On all the lower floors. Warren Beatty had 3 out of 4 suites on the 24th floor for 9 months. Lived in one. Housed Molly Ringwald in one. And kept the other one for whoever. All right. And when he was on the premises, for no matter how many hours on end, if he was, his privately owned vehicle, a black 560 SEL Mercedes-Benz, brand new, blackened windows, was parked, always, in one of those 2 spots where nobody's supposed to park. I think you can get the picture right now that he was definitely going to be treated like royalty. Being allowed to keep his privately owned vehicle all the time, on call, right there, with his driver, Joe, always there with the car, where everybody else with a privately owned vehicle has to have their car sent by the doorman around the block into a parking garage. The doorman would call from the outdoor house phone over to the parking garage, and an attendant would come and pick up the car. Not Warren Beatty. No, Warren Beatty was allowed to keep his car right in front of the hotel all the time, so that if he happens to walk out the door, there's Joe and the car. It's Warren Beatty! I'm talking about, it's Warren Beatty! How about this? Oh, I said, with respect to tips, that this shit is all worth money. Warren Beatty! 9 months! 3 suites! In and out! In and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Room service, room service, room service. You know how many dollars he paid out in tips during that entire 9 months? Well, dollars, hell. Let's not talk dollars. How about cents? fractions of a dollar, hundredths of a dollar. Zero. You think he had money? You think he could afford tips? I guess so. He's spending over $1,000 a night to stay there for 9 months. Yeah. He could pay Joe tips, but was he treated like royalty? You bet your ass. Just like everybody else was. And when it comes to royalty, the next guest I'm going to talk about after Warren Beatty, I'll tell you about royalty. Okay. And they're stinking asses. All right. Warren Beatty. During the evenings and during the weekends, when he would come in or out, oh, Joe and I talked at lengths about Warren Beatty. We came to call him Warren Jail Beatty in private and laugh. Because this is what Warren Beatty does, or did. When he would come out and get in his car, and Joe would drive him off, here's what I would see. They might be gone for 45 minutes. Next thing they'd be back. Warren Beatty would get out of the car. Of course, I'm handling the door. And then there'd be like, let's say, 3 young ladies. Not ladies, though, girls. Say teenagers, mid-teens, maybe from ages 14 through 17, it would look to me. Right? 3, get out with them. Go in through the revolving door. I'd turn the revolving door. Warren Beatty would not even look at me. Wouldn't look at anybody. Go upstairs. Come back down in about an hour. Get in his car and leave. Be gone for an hour. He'd come back. 2 girls. Different ones. All evening. Almost every evening. Going like this. According to Joe, what was going on upstairs was triple X rated going on. Orgies. He was fucking underage girls. A lot. And Joe would hear what was going on. They'd drive down 5th Avenue. Maybe. Something like that. Or go around Central Park. Slowly. And when Warren, sitting in the back seat, hiding behind his tinted glass, his tinted windows, would see the ones he wants to fuck now, next, tell Joe, pull over, slow down, pull over. Warren would talk them into getting in the car. Usually on the grounds that, they look like movie material. Give them a little alcohol. Perhaps. Get them upstairs and fuck them. Bring them back down, take them to where he got them, pick them up, drop them off. Would they ever hear from him again? Warren wasn't making that many movies. Shit. Molly Ringwald? I don't know how old she was when it all started, but she was a nice young lady when it all started. And by the time that 9 months was over, she was a cunt. She was nasty, just like him. With respect to how he treated the people who were treating him like a king. But here's a disgusting thing for you ladies who think Warren Beatty is great. You ladies out there who would just go googly-eyed and get all wet between your legs if you saw Warren Beatty. I saw this happen many times. All right. Oh, what was his girlfriend's name at the time, Allie? I told you. Okay, never mind. Some actress we all know was his girlfriend at the time. She didn't know he acted like this, and when she found out, she was pretty pissed off. She came by. She stayed there. She came to be with him now and then a couple times. But anyway, I don't remember her name. Annette Bening. Yeah. Yeah, Annette Bening. Right. Yeah, she came by. I'm here to see my boyfriend, Warren. And I thought to myself, oh boy, if only you knew what your boyfriend acts like. At first I thought she did. How could she not know? But who in the industry is going to blow his cover, right? He could fuck up their career. Oh, well, anyway. then there's Joe and I. It wasn't our business to tell anybody anything about these people. This is the first time I'm telling this story publicly. Right now. This is year 2023. You need to hear it. Women, tourists, outsiders, out-of-towners, out-of-staters, walking on Central Park South, on the sidewalk, coming up the sidewalk, from half a block away. If Warren Beatty happened to be going from his car door to the revolving door, or from the revolving door to his car door, if a woman, this happened many times, I'm telling you, at least 20, I would hear a scream, a shriek from down the sidewalk, and I would know what it was. I would know what's happening. I would hear, "Ah! It's Warren Beatty!" Some woman, almost every time, walking arm in arm with her husband on some vacation, maybe a second honeymoon, who knows, tearing away from her husband, racing up the sidewalk, arms waving in the air, ah! Just out of her fucking head, because it's Warren Beatty, the scumbag, the asshole, the pathetic fucking creature named Warren Beatty. Run up, want his autograph, and want a kiss. Throw arms around him. Just about fall on the ground in tears. I saw it a lot of times. The only time he would give anybody else any attention while going from either his car door to the revolving door, or his revolving door to his car door. That was it. A scumbag. And these women falling all over him. What were their husbands doing while this was going on? Standing down there where they were left, with their mouths open, in disbelief that their wife was acting like this over such a piece of shit. The best service in the world. That's just one thing, man, about this fag. Fuck Warren Beatty. Best service in the world didn't mean shit to him. Wasn't worth a fuck. Nothing. 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 Any doorman that stands there and puts up with this and still treats him like a god, like a Ritz-Carlton guest, should get paid a lot out of that motherfucker's pocket. But nothing. And now, the worst that I ever saw there. Here I am, Central Park South, New York City. You know what Central Park was built for? Did you know that Central Park was handmade? That every boulder and tree in there, at least at first, was planned and mapped out and approved of by the Duke of York back when New York City was being constructed, when Midtown Manhattan was being constructed, when Central Park was being built. It was to be the Duke of York, you know, British royalty. This was his, I guess, his little getaway, or at least one of them, over here in the New World. The state of New York. New York City, named after Yorkshire, the area called Yorkshire, England, where the Duke is the member of royalty, part of the royal family, who is in charge of collecting taxes and overseeing and administering and making sure everything operates according to the king's and queen's orders in that area. The Duke and his wife, the Duchess of York. So, over in New York City, he had a little castle built in what's now called Midtown Manhattan. Had a castle and a backyard, which was constructed, precision constructed, to be his backyard, his little playground, and that is Central Park. So here, the Duke of York and his wife arrive in a limousine during my shift, just 50 or 60 feet away from the little low wall that separates the sidewalk across the street from where I am and Central Park, the south end of Central Park. His, I guess, great-grandfather, something like that, great-great-grandfather's backyard. Now, royalty. When in their home country, do you know that they don't carry money? Why would they need cash? They want a new airplane. They voice it to somebody and they have a new airplane probably that afternoon. They want a new pair of shoes. Oh, geez, I'd like a new pair of shoes. Does he have to go out to the store and pay? No. He's royalty. It's his fucking country. But when traveling abroad, they need to carry cash for some spending money, some pocket money. Anything major, well, Bill the Queen, I guess. But, yes, they come to a foreign country with cash. So, in this case, the Duke of York and his wife, probably, but I know the Duke of York, had U.S. dollars on him. He had at least a very thick wad of brand new, crisp $100 bills, U.S. dollars, greenbacks, with a clip around them in his shirt pocket. He had a suit on. His shirt pocket. His jacket was off. He was just getting out of a limousine. Probably coming from the JFK airport. Having flown all the way from Britain. Probably. Most likely. He had this wad. Is at least, there was more than 10 there. It looked like there could have been 50 of them. $100 bills. All right. Shirt pocket. Might have had more in his suitcase. Who knows? He might have had a briefcase full of them. Who knows? But this is for him to be able to go out and, eat dinner or something like that, or buy a pair of shoes, get some roses along the street, for his wifey poo. Okay. I open the door for his wife. She gets out on the hotel side of the car. I come around. I open the door for him. He steps out. As he's stepping out, he sees a speck of dust on his shoe. So he stoops on over to brush off the dust. As he's coming back up, the wad of money falls on the asphalt. It's going down as his head's coming up. They just, his line of vision, his line of sight, and the trajectory of that wad of money just passed each other. He didn't catch that. He saw that speck of dust. So now he's standing, and I see that money. What should I do? This is on the non-hotel side of the door of the car. The security cameras could see the other side, and they could see anything that's above the roof level of the limousine. They could see the wall at Central Park across the street behind me, but they couldn't see what was on the ground. The car's in the way. Nobody else is out there. Maybe a car driving by behind me, but nobody else but me knows that wad of money is there. And if I never gave it back to the Duke, from Great Britain, who just arrived from the airport in a limousine. How's he to know where he lost that money? And is it going to affect him at all? In fact, what kind of a Duke of York visiting New York City, just meters away from his predecessor's backyard, play area, is going to make a stink about having dropped a wad of $100 bills somewhere? He's not going to say a word to anybody. Is it going to hurt him? No! Not at all. Not at all. He's not going to be put out a penny over that. Nothing. Nothing. Now, in a service-oriented town, a tip-oriented town, anybody who loses a wad of money and somebody else finds it and returns it to its actual owner, they're going to get some of that money. Just due to the courtesy, especially in a place like New York City, where returning somebody's money to them like that is quite unlikely. But that's worth money. Let's say you lose $500. You lost your wallet and had $500 in it. And somebody gets your wallet, finds it on the ground, right? Picks it up, looks at the ID card in it or whatever, sees your address, gets a hold of you, returns your wallet, and it still has that $500 in it. Being in New York City, at least. You're going to peel off one of those and give it to the person who returned you your $500. So now you only have $400. You lost $100 over this. But if this person hadn't returned it, you'd have been out $500. Just moments ago, you didn't have any. You originally had $500, now you have none. Now you get your money back, you give the person $100, now you have $4. If it wasn't for that person, you'd have none of your money. So yeah, it's expected. Now, I didn't pick up and return the Duke's wad of $100 bills because I wanted him to peel a couple of them off for me. No. But I expected that he would. It's the Duke of York. Could he afford it? Yeah. He could have afforded to just give me the whole damn wad and say, you're a pretty good guy. Here, just take it. It doesn't mean shit to me. Want me to autograph a couple of them for you? Did he give me any? No. Did he thank me? No. Did he look at me? No. Did he completely ignore me and grab the money? Yeah. Did he put it back in his shirt pocket? Yeah. Did he look back over his shoulder with disgust? Yes. That's a piece of shit. That is a piece of shit. That's all I have to say.